A day in the studio with drummers is something that I have been thinking about for some time. I've had some very positive experiences playing alongside other drummers. I feel like it would be great to attempt to bottle the experience.
I think the instant I try to like put something in, it's just not gonna work, you know? Like,
but there's some things that you can obviously put things in, right? Like there's some things that you can access, like that are pretty fancy because I've seen you play. So you can't say that's not.
No, it depends. Like a metric thing or something like that, and it fits perfectly, and then like you have to like learn it in order to like. Cause like I can't improvise that stuff. Like they'll like outline it and show it to me, then I have to like learn it. And then, but the whole time I'm doing it, I'm just panicking. Cause I'm like, if it falls apart at any point, I don't know how to get it back. You know what I mean? And I have no idea where I am in it, you know what I mean? It's like jumping into a pool and like, you're like, I think I know how to swim. Because at some point, you know, in any band, they're going to be like, let go and go, right?
Well, you know, what you just said right there, I think is real key, sort of contributing.
No, please do.
Maybe not unlearning, it's letting go of the intellectualization of what you've worked up. Unlearn it. You don't unlearn how to tie your shoes. You don't unlearn how to take a shower. You know what I mean? You let go of the idea of it and it will naturally flow out of you. That's how I think of it. And I think that maybe describing to somebody that doesn't have maybe that much of a background, that might resonate with them. And instead of, well, learn this to unlearn it, it's like, well, dude, you're asking a lot of me here. You know, I got to invest this time and then unlearn it.
For one, my journey as a musician has been a transformative one. And I feel that passing along the things I have learned can be to the benefit of others. This short documentary is an attempt to transfer some of those things. Like any lesson, this may fall short in some ways. But I hope that whoever is watching can have some benefit from watching this film, because I believe that making advances musically almost always means some kind of growth personally. The musicians I chose to participate in this video are the ones who decided to show up. No one was promised money. Perhaps it was curiosity. Whatever it may have been, no barrier was too tall for them to take part. So for that, I am grateful for their persistence.
Here, so it's called generalizing an ability. Like, so there's certain things that, like, if you practice long enough, you can do them in every setting.
So like it would be like in that situation, it was a lot of like trial and error. I would like write a part that I heard in my head that I thought would sound good to like either set up something that the horns were doing, and then I would like give it to them and they would read it, and then I'd be like, yeah, it works, or I'd most of the time be like, oh god, it's just like it's not there. Like
maybe that's it.
But
too.
that's kind of like maybe like thinking of something in your head, working it out, formulating it, and then like putting it into a musical context.
Right. Well, sometimes, so you're saying like sometimes like you could have an idea, but just really is not that jivey with. I think that's that's a thing, but I would hate to like scrap things because like what if you misjudge? Like you could be developing way more things, but you just didn't get it kinesthetically enough, kinds of things, and that's one thing that I've noticed is a lot of things I've scrapped or not worked on because I thought, well, when you're in a band setting, you can only play certain things. Like, so only certain things work. You know?
Yeah.
But I'm learning now because I've been working, like with the pandemic, been able to play by myself. If you sit with things long enough, you know, you can do more things, like more fancier things in a musical context. But it just takes time, you know?
It's just like, I guess, if like you learn a new word, like a strong word, vocabulary word, you throw it in right away. It just doesn't match like the way you talk, and then, you know, but then you hear like, so we talk about that all the time, right? You gotta walk the road in the middle. You have to have chops on, you have to.
Right.
And you have to think about pocket and time.
there were some specific things I wanted to discuss among the other drummers in order to find common ground and perhaps uncover some alternative and interesting ways to learn and teach more effectively. I was also hoping we would not spend too much time discussing people or famous musicians. My reason was that we would be more focused on sound, notes, and more specific ways to explain the reasons for the things we play or think. It turns out I was the one who kept breaking that rule.
Nobody ever wants you to play the Purdy Shuffle.
What is the actual kitchen pattern of the Purdy Shuffle?
I don't know.
Well, it depends on what song it is.
Well, I mean, because for me, like, it always comes out as the Rosanna.
It's more halftime with the backbeat. That's what I hear when I hear him do it. I hear the backbeat has a middle out. I got it. I thought I was doing that, dog. The Bernard Purdy thing that I hear is rock steady. 1, 2, 3. That's the Bernard Purdy when I think of is that.
That's Purdy.
The Fez, yeah. So Kid Charlemagne is. He plays this in Aretha songs all over the place. He always plays this beat. There you go. Always that.
I guess it's because, for me, people are inseparable from the music they make, and their impact is quite significant. I brought a kit to the studio that cost me around $150, not including the cymbals and snare. I guess I did this to prove a point, but I do genuinely like the sound of kits with inexpensive wood. Not to sound foolish, but how do we know expensive wood sounds better? I digress. But it was nice to put together a large drum set. Many of the drummers commented that the kit was much larger than what they are used to. My reasoning was that there would be a wide range of sounds to choose from. We even took some time to tune the toms and thirds. I understand that this is a common practice for some professional drummers, and it really made a difference. It also created more contrast between the toms and the other sounds. planning for this video shoot, I intended to discuss sound explicitly with the other drummers. But each demonstrated their own sound.
Okay, that's a little slow though, but like.
Well, give us more. What do you want?
Let me think about it. So, a little faster tempo.
like this,
it flows a little bit like.
One,
Look at like with triplets, like.
No one sounded alike. Some of us stumbled while playing slower, while others were more at home in slower, more gently flowing music. When I hear the way Laurel plays this one, I envy her sense of flow at this tempo. All of us had to face some vulnerability because of the range of tempos we were attempting to play. Among drummers, it is understood that there can be some tempos that seem more fitting to our individual style than others. Yet, deep down, I think we all desire to play fluently at every tempo. While discussing technique and our early experiences learning drums, Laurel shared a book that she learned from. This book was unusual to me, but I think I understood what it was about. In drumming, in order to create sounds and patterns, every limb is involved. More so than guitar or piano. But I also think that the heart or center of the body is uniquely involved. I believe that the book that Laurel brought was written to address those needs and help drummers manage their energy and movement efficiently. Every drummer must find a way to do this to begin with, so I thought it was clever that someone wrote a book about it. I also wondered if this unique perspective was what enabled Laurel to be so at ease when experimenting with slower tempos. I should mention that playing slow is very difficult in drumming. We had some good discussions about sound during our time. However, I was determined to bring up technique several times during our time in order to gain insight as to how many of us developed in technique. I was exposed to the Dave Weckl finger technique 30 years ago. There I go, naming names again. I'm sure this technique didn't begin with him, but that's who I ascribe it to. Interestingly, I learned that 2 of the drummers who came were in good marching bands as teens. Marching drummers are trained and expected to use their fingers for rebounds. I always felt like I missed the boat because I wasn't a part of a marching band through high school, at least not consistently. It has taken me more time to develop technique as a result. But I think that anyone can develop great hands for drum set playing if they cultivate a good finger rebound.
That's basically what I'm getting at. Like, with how did you develop the finger technique?
Well, it was told to me explicitly, and seeing other kids and how they would get reprimanded for using
right. Yes.
And
so what?
It's just fear of not looking like everybody else, kind of thing.
Is that in marching band? Was it march? Okay, so what's the exercises that you use to develop a finger technique?
Well, a big one was doing the double stroke, but really slowly. And then accenting the second. And When you raise that up to tempo with the, and then you go fast, and then it's like pretty even, and then that really got my fingers to like do.
Okay. So you're saying like through the double stroke roll, you learn mostly how to use your fingers?
Yeah, because I think it kind of gives you like this little jitter with your fingers, and then you get a lot of control with that. And now I can do this.
You just like find the bounce spot, the bounce point, and then you continue the bounce.
Okay. Yes.
Singles too, and just 8 on a hand. They're just classic.
Okay, yeah, do that one.
So. Start at a low tempo, or having a low dynamic, and then when you raise it up to like super fast. And then I just implement that with like every ghost note I'm ever doing. It's just like this super like pianissimo dynamic.
So what he would have us do is he'd have it to where the stick's kind of facing vertically, all right? And so you already have gravity kind of working against you, right? Because it's pulling backwards. And he'd have you focus, it's mostly these 2 that would initiate most of the motion with this kind of in third place. And this one mostly kind of out of the picture in terms of pivot is mostly these rear ones, but he'd have you just do tiny motions like that.
Interesting. Never seen
And then he'd have us go against the wall. So you always have gravity working against you, just to kind of get the basics idea of how am I moving. They would be real small movements, dude. Not a lot of throw like that.
Whose concept was that, Rich?
Richard Wilson.
So like I never got to be in a good drum line, right? I think I told you that, but it must have had an amazing thing with your chop.
A good finger rebound is not only to be able to play fast. This is also one of the keys to being able to play light, but with intensity. It can also help you to have an unfettered sound. A sound that is gentle and yet forceful. The next thing I was eager to discuss was the 6-stroke roll. I think that the 6-stroke roll is one of the most important things a drummer can learn. For one, it is a triplet phrase when played in an open jazz style. The sticking is also very unique. I think this is because of the diddle, or 2 repeated bounce notes, on the left hand after the accented note.
Let me see. So that's weird because your left hand is your stronger hand, right?
No, it's just I play open, so I'm
Okay,
I'm
so
my snare drum
your
hand,
right hand is still your lead hand, kind of?
Yeah, it's like my dominant hand.
Okay. So here's the thing, like with the 6-stroke, you know how like the left hand can be a little dainty?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like if you play them really, some people when they play 6-strokes, everything is strong.
Mm-hmm.
The dainty left hand thing is your friend.
Yeah. Because it helps it like slur. You know.
It's that's the sound. The strength combined with like the weak.
Yeah.
The strong and the weak together. Not making everything strong. Like you know how sometimes people mirror everything. Like everything you do with your right, you got to be able to do with your left.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the jam.
Yeah.
Because if you have a lead hand, that's good. Mm-hmm. It's good to have that. It's not a weakness to have a weak hand.
Yeah.
It's a good. I don't know. This is a part that I'm trying to put into words.
Definitely. Well, it's like using it to your advantage. You like work smarter, not harder. You know.
Right, because if something's weak, dynamically it can find a really interesting place in what you're doing.
Exactly.
This is good, for any time you're trying to learn something. How do you? Because if you only camp out on your weaknesses, you go like, I got a weak hand, and then you're just there all the time. You're going to be like, you're defined by weakness, like all the time. No, you can't do that. That's not the way people learn and like a roll. You know, people that roll when they play, like a lot of jazzier drummers, they roll.
Yeah, like they're just doing doubles the whole time.
But it's just the way their flow is rolling through. It's not choppy. It's rolling. Like.
I've been same with him. It's like you start playing 6s and you just stay within it, right? So like, but for me, it's like if we do like a dotted quarter thing.
What's your tempo?
Just keeping the 6s going.
And 6-stroke is a roll.
Yeah.
It's a roll, man.
Yeah.
I'm all excited about this. I think licks are really important because it helps you, like, with your own personal repertoire to have things to do and stuff like that. Like, instead of phoning everything in, like trying to make everything up as you go, it's nice to have things that you can play, right, already. I I guess I come from a place where like it was said that you're not supposed to do that. You know what I mean? Like you're always supposed to play the music according to what's been played, and licks have no place in that or something. It's been said before. Yeah, it's been said before.
Yeah.
Falsely, no, but I think we covered it a couple times. The 6-stroke roll is kind of like the gateway to a lot of things. Like you play a certain way, and then you start using like rebounds and stuff like that. Like, and adding the 6-stroke roll, it really profoundly changes what you can do. Especially the fact that it's in like a triplet form. Like that's a different sound. But the one I like to use is the gad lick. That's what I call it too. So it's like, and then that goes like, and then just like but I also like it when you roll it. I like that one because it like, if our tempo's right here, kind of has a thing. Can you give me a rhythm? Boom, boom, bapa chica, boom, bapo to kaka chica, boom, boom. Obviously, we know where that's going, right?
Is that a 9-note grouping?
Let's count it.
3. Yeah, 3 gives 3. 1 and a 2 and a 3. 1 and a 2 and a 3.
Yeah, I mean, so the quality of it is that it kind of goes over the bar line, and it does a hemiola kind of thing.
Up, down, up, down.
And that's cool. You could have. There's also an 8-note one. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can mix those up. But it's all coming from the 6-stroke roll. So that right there, I mean, you can get away with murder just with that alone. You know what I mean? It's also nice for bucket of fish. You know what I mean? Now, what do you do?
Start with this one first.
Oh, it's that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Just try going oompa-da, ba-da-da, oompa-da with the kick. Yeah, but the left oompa-da, ba, oompa-da.
Oh.
Yeah, did it
No, I
with
think
the
I
left
almost
hand.
had it. Is
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's that gather. Okay. That's like a 6-stroke. So you're going. Yeah. So yeah. So there's the 6-stroke again.